When a young woman went missing while out for a morning jog, her case made international headlines and quickly became known as Salt Lake City's most high-profile disappearance. Still, no one could have imagined the series of baffling lies that were discovered during the search for her, exposing years of secrets and a dark, double life. On the morning of July 19, 2004, 28-year-old Mark Hacking woke up to find that his wife, Lori Soares Hacking, had already gone to work at Wells Fargo, where she was a stockbroker's assistant. Lori had planned to wake up around 5 a.m. that morning and head out for a run, as she often did in the Memory Grove area of Salt Lake City, Utah. She was then going to return home, get ready for the day, and Mark was going to drive her to work at 7 a.m. However, when Mark woke at 8 a.m. after accidentally sleeping in, he just assumed Lori had come home and driven herself to work without waking him. This suspicion was confirmed when he noted that her vehicle was gone. Not thinking much of it, Mark continued with his morning like usual. That is until around 10 a.m. when Mark called her work and realized she had never arrived. It was only then that he noticed the clothes Lori had laid out to wear to work were still at home. In fact, he was on the phone with Lori's co-worker when he made the discovery, saying, "Oh my heck, here's her clothes. She never came back from running." Thoroughly concerned, Mark then called 911 just after 10 a.m. The desk sergeant he spoke to told him that he had to wait 24 hours to report Lori as a missing person. Assuming there wouldn't be much help from the police, he then headed for Memory Grove and found Lori's car where it was still parked in the area. She usually left it while running, but there was no sign of his wife anywhere nearby, and her car appeared to be undisturbed. Soon, Lori's co-workers arrived to help in the search for her, and many of them had also called the police to report her missing. They were joined by both Mark and Lori's family members. Lori usually ran a set route, and her loved ones were already checking the trail she followed when the police arrived on the scene. They told officers that Lori always ran along the roadway when she was alone and only veered off this path if she had a companion for safety. When officers interviewed Mark, they noted that he was very upset, and it was difficult for him to keep his composure long enough to speak with them. Still, he managed to tell them what had happened. Mark claimed that he'd already run his wife's normal route to see if he could find any trace of her, which crossed the creek, and explained why his shoes were wet when police arrived. As he was sharing his story, Mark became so overwhelmed that he fell backward against the passenger side of Lori's car. Salt Lake City was already reeling from the kidnapping of 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart only 2 years earlier in 2002. With this distressing incident in mind, a thorough investigation was immediately launched to find Lori, despite Mark previously believing he had to wait 24 hours. K-9 units and helicopters flying low were deployed to help in the search, but over the next few hours, they came up empty-handed. Still, people began coming forward to share their experiences in Memory Grove, with a few different women recalling unsettling interactions with suspicious men in the past. Soon, a disturbing theory emerged that someone may have kidnapped Lori from the area while she was out running, similar to what had happened to Elizabeth Smart. Lori's disappearance was especially distressing because the couple was on the brink of all their dreams coming true. She and Mark were high school sweethearts and had been married for 5 years. Mark had just graduated with a master's in psychology from the University of Utah. The couple had plans to move soon to North Carolina, where Mark had been accepted into medical school to study oncology at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. His father was a pediatrician, and Mark was following in his footsteps, just as one of his brothers had. Lori had even resigned from her beloved job and put her plans for an MBA on hold until Mark finished medical school. Most of their apartment was packed up, and the couple had just celebrated their going-away party 3 days before her disappearance at a mountain cabin owned by Lori's boss. The couple had even more exciting news, as Lori was about 5 weeks pregnant. According to friends and family, she was extremely excited about the upcoming move and the baby. By that afternoon, flyers were posted around the city in the hopes that someone had seen what happened to her. However, things became complicated when a neighbor of Lori and Mark's was interviewed. This neighbor noted that Lori's car was out in front of the apartment building at 7 a.m., and when she left her house again at 8:30, it was still there. These contrasting witness statements further complicated the investigation. How had she been out for a run and returned home, only to have her vehicle be found again at Memory Grove? With this mystery in mind, investigators turned to Mark to explain, but he couldn't clear up the confusion, as he was certain Lori's car was gone when he woke up. As with most cases, the spouse is the first suspect, but it was hard to understand why Mark would have any motive in Lori's disappearance. Some of Lori's co-workers were interviewed as they were close to the couple. One co-worker stated that she hadn't noticed any change in Lori's behavior recently, which was normally upbeat, and that her relationship with Mark seemed exceptionally happy, especially because he'd sent her flowers at work. Lori's mom confirmed the sentiment, saying that she had a great relationship with Mark and the two adored each other, with Lori calling Mark "my big old teddy bear." In fact, everyone who knew the couple believed that they were happily married and deeply in love. Still, Mark had done something a bit odd that morning before he realized Lori was missing. Between 9 and 10 a.m., he'd gone out and purchased a new mattress for their bedroom, presumably for their move. Strange, but it wasn't overly concerning for investigators. Later that afternoon, on the same day that Lori had gone missing, Mark was brought in for a quick interview. On the ride over to the police station, Mark made the comment, "Lori is going to be so pissed at me." When asked what he meant, Mark elaborated, saying, "If you guys ever find her, she will be so mad at me because I didn't go running with her." Once at the police station, he relayed his story once again to an officer.
In your words, what's been going on so far today?
My wife got up at 5 this morning, went running. And I stayed in bed. I woke up at 8 and she hadn't awakened me when she got home and showered and went to work at 7. At least I thought that's what had happened. When I woke up and she was gone, I just figured she hadn't awakened me, just let me sleep. And so I got up at 8, did some things. I played my Nintendo a bit, and we needed a new mattress. We decided to get one, so I went, and we had been shopping around, looking at different places, and I had found one.
What time was that?
I left my place at about 9.
Okay, what happened after you got the mattress home?
I put it on my bed. I was putting sheets on. Called my wife while I was putting sheets on, and someone else answered the phone.
About what time is this?
About 10.
They called wife's cell phone?
No.
No.
Her
Work phone?
phone.
So we're trying to get for assuming there. What was the reason for the call?
Just to say hi.
Okay.
I asked to talk to my wife. Well, I don't remember the exact words. He said something along the lines, is Lori okay? And I
Brandon
said,
asked you that?
yeah, and I said, I don't know. And he told me she hadn't come in. So I went looking for her.
Okay, how did you know where to go look?
Because she runs in the same place every day.
Initially, Mark had agreed to participate in a CVSA test, also known as computer voice stress analysis, which is a controversial technology that tries to measure deception through changes in frequency and stress when someone speaks.
Let me explain the test to you. So you understand it, so you feel comfortable with it, and so you won't be afraid of it. Okay? What this is a truth verification machine. Okay? Have you ever had a lie detector test, the old-fashioned type? If you've seen them on TV, okay, they have like a box and they have all the arms going around, the papers rolling, the guy's sitting in the chair and he's all strapped up and all that stuff. Okay? That was developed in the 1930s. Okay? We're hoping technology's advanced a little more since then, and that's what this is. Okay? This is just waiver form. It's basically saying you're taking this of your own free will. Nobody's forcing you or coercing you or anything of that nature.
I do feel coerced into taking this.
And how do you feel? I mean, let me explain this to you. Nobody's making you take this test. If you don't want to, you can walk right out that door. Right
And
now.
what happens to me?
You walk out the door and they take you back up to your car.
And if I refuse, then of course that makes me look guilty.
It's not admissible in court anyway. We trust the machine. The courts just don't. It just gives us something to verify the information we've got so far. And obviously, as you said, obviously, we got some concerns about this mattress thing. We interview people that have killed people all the time, and they don't tell us the truth. And that's what this machine is just for.
But at the same time, I've got these circumstances that look bad. So I feel like if I don't take this, then I'm just going to be drilled.
You have nothing to lose by this.
I don't think I want to take it.
Okay.
At this point, police are unsure what to make of Mark's refusal to take the test, especially as he says he feels coerced, despite being told multiple times that he doesn't have to take it. Ultimately, they take him back to the apartment. As officers search Lori and Mark's home for any signs of what could have happened, they come across a disturbing discovery in the dumpster behind the building. Inside, police find a brand new mattress that appears to have bloodstains on it. With this shocking discovery, Mark becomes a suspect. As police search the apartment, they find even more evidence. They discover a small, sharp knife inside a cereal box in the kitchen, a larger knife with reddish stains hidden in a bedroom closet, and a receipt for the new mattress in the kitchen. The mattress Mark had purchased that morning matched the one found in the dumpster. In the closet, they also find a card from Mark to Lori, expressing his love and excitement for their future. On July 21, 2004, just 2 days after Lori's disappearance, Mark's brothers, Lance and Scott, go to the police with critical information. They reveal that Mark had admitted to them that he wasn't in medical school and had never graduated from the University of Utah. This revelation casts a new light on the case, and police begin to investigate further. They discover that Mark had been living a double life, lying about his academic achievements and future plans. Mark's web of lies begins to unravel. He had been pretending to attend classes and study for exams, even going as far as purchasing medical textbooks and talking about his studies with friends and family. In reality, he had been spending his days playing video games and watching TV. The stress of maintaining this facade had been building, and it seemed that Lori's pregnancy and their upcoming move had pushed Mark to the breaking point. As police continue to investigate, they find that Mark had been planning Lori's murder for some time. They discover evidence that he had purchased a rifle and ammunition just days before her disappearance. On July 23, 2004, Mark is arrested and charged with Lori's murder. He eventually confesses to the crime, admitting that he had shot Lori while she was sleeping, then disposed of her body in a dumpster. Mark's trial is swift, and he is found guilty of murder. He is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The case shocks the community and serves as a stark reminder of the potential for hidden darkness in seemingly happy relationships. Lori's family and friends are left to mourn the loss of a vibrant young woman whose life was cut short by the man she loved and trusted.